Hello, everybody. I am here today to talk about that moment when you realize you've turned into your mother, because it's really, really relevant. And there's a poignant point to this. But I remember when I was sitting on a train once and I saw this reflection in the mirror. And I thought, oh my God, it really gave me a shock. So I thought, who is that old woman looking at me? And then I thought, oh, it's my mother. Until I realized it was me. It was actually me. And I thought, oh my God, I'm turning into my mother. How did that happen? Like, when did I become this older woman with wrinkles and all that? And it was a really big shock to me. And I thought about that when I spoke to this woman recently who was not even 40. And I'm a bit older than that, I can assure you. She wasn't even 40. And she was really very unhappy within herself. She hated her wrinkles. She hated parts of her body. And she felt really, really uncomfortable. And she said, I'm just terrified, because she'd been repeating a pattern of toxic relationships over and over and over again. And she just couldn't find that forever man, that forever relationship is what she called it. And she said, I'm terrified I'm going to become my mother. And for her, that meant that she was going to become old, alone, and bitter, looking back at her life with regret, because that's what she said had happened to her mother, that she had had many toxic relationships, one after the other, and then ended up alone, old, wrinkly, and afraid that that was it. And she became quite bitter, and she was really, really afraid of that. And the problem is, if you are really uncomfortable within your skin, you're just not comfortable in your skin, then you're going to look to external factors to validate you. You're going to think, do they think I'm attractive enough? Are they looking at somebody younger than me? Are they going to leave me when I get more wrinkles and old for somebody younger? That sort of fear kicks in, that I'm not good enough, and the problem that arises from that is, if you live your life not being secure and comfortable within, then you start to think, nothing's good enough. I've got to be thin enough. I've got to be pretty enough. I've got to be wrinkle-free enough, cellulite-free enough. And the problem is, it's never, ever, ever going to be enough, because that high bar and the high expectations you put on yourself are never enough. And you then spend your life comparing yourself to others, thinking everybody else is smarter, prettier, thinner, younger. And one of the greatest thieves of joy is comparing yourself to others. And in a similar way, it's when your very happiness depends on outside sources and external factors, that can also steal joy as well, because your very happiness and your moods and how you feel day to day can really depend on outside sources. So, for example, if your boss says something, a smart comment that he didn't like something about your work, it can set you back for the whole day. And if your boyfriend suddenly takes a sideways glance at somebody younger, that can throw you as well. And you can really, your self-esteem can take a massive dip and a beating, because they've just clocked somebody else. They probably weren't even thinking twice. They were just looking to the side, and you sort of build this whole story up in your head that they're only like younger women and blah, 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 blah. And it can really, really steal your joy and ruin your day. You know, I've had many women who say that their day is ruined when their boyfriend says something nice, or a friend makes a comment that about what they're wearing or whatever. So all these things, the out exterior factors, if you need to be validated by other people all the time, or you only feel good about yourself when you're enough, thin enough, pretty enough, smart enough, whatever, it really can steal your joy. And if that is the way you're living your life, then you will know for a fact that you'll be on this roller coaster. 1 minute you can be on a high when somebody compliments you and says something great. You feel on a high, and the next minute it can come all crashing down when somebody looks at you twice the wrong way. You know, and really living your life like that. Hello, Sherry Hernandez, you beautiful, beautiful woman. It's so good to see you here. Sorry, I just got excited. Sherry's one of my beautiful clients, and I miss you so much, Sherry. And by the way, I'm going to contact you because I wanted to chat about something. Anyway, that aside, so you know that it can really steal your joy, and you feel powerless, absolutely powerless. But you can take that power back. You know, it is all about how you feel within. And Sherry, who's worked with me, absolutely knows this for a fact, that if you spend your entire life looking to the outside world to make you feel good enough, make you feel beautiful enough, make you feel lovable enough, then your life is never going to be enough. I love that. Miss you too. Let me just show you that. It's so beautiful. Miss you too. You're the best. 100% true. Thank you, Sherry. And you know, that moment when I thought, oh my God, I'm turning into my mother, when I looked in the reflection in the train and went, oh my, of course I thought, how did I become this wrinkly? How did I become this old? How did that happen that I'm suddenly this middle-aged woman? Oh my God, I've turned into my mother. But you know what? I'm good with that. I'm absolutely good with that, because my self-esteem, my self-worth, how I feel about myself has nothing to do with how I look. And Karen says, I get it. Karen 56, I don't know whether that means you're 56, but you know, so often we base our entire self-worth on how we look, or about how other people see us, about their opinions of us. And we're handing away our power if we do that. So you can take your power back, but it has to start with you. It all starts with you from within. And so if you've been struggling with this, because sometimes people don't realize this. Actually, the thing is, a lot of us don't realize that we've handed our power away at all. You know, you just wonder why one day you're having this amazing day and the next minute it's come crashing down. And you just don't understand why. Because you're strong, you're confident, you've got a successful career, your life on every level is great. But you just don't know why you feel so powerless. You don't realize why you feel so helpless. You don't realize why your moods and behavior can be so thrown by what somebody says, what they think of you, how they look at you. But that is when you are allowing external factors, other people, other events, other things, external things determine who you are and your self-worth. And that's the trap we fall into, which is what makes us susceptible as well. Because if you keep going down that path, you become very, very, very susceptible to relationships that are not good enough, because you're looking to that person to complete you. And you're looking to them. Do they think I'm attractive enough? Do they think I'm pretty enough? Do they think I'm smart enough? Do they love me enough? You've handed all your power to another person. And that is not the path to a healthy, lasting, happy relationship, trust me. You know, you're only good when you're good within. And then you start to attract other people who are good within. And together, you're amazing for the sum of the parts. And it was only when I realized this, that I was handing my power away to everyone and anything else that happened outside of me, that I took my power back. And only then could I start to heal. And that is when I started to know that I was good enough, pretty enough, no matter how many wrinkles I have or whatever. And that's when I met my forever man, as that woman I talked about earlier described. And so if you are feeling a little bit helpless and you're feeling like your life is out of control and you wonder why, I would suggest that you are handing your power away. And, you know, comparing yourself to others and your happiness depending on everyone and everything else around you, both are the thieves of joy and a really calm, happy, peaceful life. So if that's you, then I would really encourage you to watch my free webinar, how to recover from toxic relationships, fall back in love with your life, and never settle for anything less than you deserve. Because in that webinar, I talk about the 5 mind shifts that separate the women who go on to absolutely reclaim their power, like Sherry, who I've worked together with, who make that choice, the mindset shifts that they made that allow them to take their power back and never settle for anything less than you deserve again. Never depend your happiness on anyone else. Never depend your self-worth on whether you're smart enough, thin enough, pretty enough, whatever, enough. You know you are enough. And so I've put the link to that free webinar. And in fact, that's what Sherry did. She watched that webinar, and then when it resonated so much with her, she then booked a call with me, and we went on to absolutely work together and help her transform her life. So watch that webinar. The link is below. How to recover from toxic relationships, fall back in love with your life, and never settle for less than you deserve again. The link is in the description below. And I really, really, really look forward to seeing you there and for you to take that step as well. So thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Karen. Glenn, I see you're on here. And please do join me in my next video. Bye for now.